Now, speaking of dropping infection rates, perhaps no community in Israel has had a bigger turnaround in such a short period of time as the Israeli Arab sector. Upwards of 26 red Arab cities going green in just a month's time. Here with more is social activist and director of Beyachad-Aravim, La-zeh, Yoseph Haddad. Yoseph, I'm so happy to have you back here.
Happy to be here again.
Again, of course. Braving the contagion to be here. But of course, all right, so what has changed in the Arab community?
4 reasons. Number one, everybody understood that the corona pandemic is serious, more serious than they thought. And I'm saying that they understood it because we came to a point where each and every one of us, unfortunately, knew someone that either died or got infected.
So it was learning the hard way. Really.
It's the learning in the hard way. So knowing that, people start to be more and more careful. Number two, the fact is that we understood that gathering together, such as weddings, mostly weddings, that was the number one issues in the Arab society, Israeli Arab society, was number one reason for the infection. And we stopped that. Basically, we saw that drastically all over the villages and the cities in the Arab Israeli cities and villages, where literally we stopped the wedding. That was like number one reason in my point of view. Another 2 reasons, home front command. The fact that municipalities and the fact that the leaders in the cities and in the villages cooperated with home front command made it possible to take control over.
So it was kind of a ground-up situation in partnership with the IDF.
Definitely. Listen, we have to understand what happens at the beginning of September. Okay, at the beginning of September, and we need to understand that the Israeli Arabs are 20% of the population, but the infections rate were about 50% of them were Israeli Arabs. That's a huge percentage that it's not even logical. When we understand what I just told you before, we started seeing the decrease in the infections, and I'm really glad to see that. And actually, this is something that we can take as a role model for other societies. But the number 4, which I didn't say, it's because we also closed the mosques and the churches as well. And one of the great reasons is the imam. He actually ordered a fatwa. Fatwa, it's a religious order, where he said that we must obey the instructions of the Ministry of Health.
Wow.
That did the job as well.
So I have to ask though, because you mentioned big gatherings for weddings as being a super spreading
and
type event and prayer, etc. Right. And so the holidays, Eid al-Adha over the summer was a really major event that caused a spike in infections. So right now we have upcoming though, the Prophet Muhammad's birthday is coming at the end of the month, early November. Are we going to see an uptick again, or have we learned our lesson, essentially?
By the way, not only that, in December we have Christmas as well, and we have also Hanukkah for the Jewish society. So we are actually we're going to the huge and big test in front of us for the Israeli society, not just the Arab Israeli society, not just for the Muslims, and not just for the Christians. I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. The only thing that I can tell you is I really hope that the way we treated it right now, which is a huge success, is in the November and December, the Jewish, the Muslims, and the Christians will stay united against this pandemic and say, hey, this is something more dangerous than what we thought. We will pray in our home. I hope that we will do that as well.
Yosef, I'm right there with you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.